Afghan, Iraq. This is just the ones I mentioned. Sunday was the 77th anniversary of D-Day, where we won ashore Normandy. At this battle, we lost 4,413 soldiers on that one day, 6 June 1944. Karen and I had the privilege of going there a couple of times. It's very humbling and touching to look out over this beautiful bluff and fields and see 13,000 white crosses and stars of David. And then most of the time they have a bagpiper playing Amazing Grace. And then from out in the middle of all these white crosses and stars of David, a lone bugler back somewhere there playing taps. And if you haven't lost it by then, something's wrong with you. You need to go to the doctor. But the sad thing about that is only one of several American cemeteries through France, Belgium, and Netherlands. The same size as this, 13,000 or more. General Patton had a comment towards the end of the war. He said that we should not mourn the brave men that gave their lives. Instead, we should thank God for sending them to us to lead us there. Through the years, many of our citizens have developed a callous there, and we take for granted all these numbers. We don't put faces with the numbers. Now, all that changed for us in this part of the world in late April when over in Boone, we lost 2 of our own. And although they were Boone police officers, they were also, as you know, our own. Officer Chris Ward and K-9 Officer Logan Fox. And Chris, of course, was a former Beach Mountain police officer, and Logan grew up here. Suddenly, all those numbers had names. We could put names to them, like Chris and Logan. And like I said in Jeremiah, they were not only heroes, but they were mighty warriors. All those numbers that I gave you were mighty warriors and heroes, and certainly Chris and Logan were. They gave their lives to protect us. The Holy Bible tells us no greater love has anyone than you lay down your life for a fellow man or woman. Some of you may have heard the song of George Strait, the great country singer, sings a song about law enforcement. It's called The Badge. One of the lines in this song says, when I pick up the badge in my hand, said it ain't heavy, but when I pin it on, all of a sudden the weight becomes staggering with the duty and devotion that this demands of it. And while I was working on this devotional, I came across a eulogy I gave back in the 90s for a young firefighter named Chris Juliana. I know Riley would remember. Chris lost his life in a tragic accident, kayaking accident. And I made the statement then, 96, 25 years or so ago, we are a tight community here on Beach Mountain. When one hurts, we all hurt. And this is never more true than what we all felt with Logan and Chris. And they were 2 mighty warriors. And may they rest in peace, and may the good Lord comfort their families. And would you bow your heads, please? Lord, we thank you for sending us mighty warriors to defend and protect us. We ask that you grant wisdom to our council as they make decisions that affect us all. We ask you protect our law enforcement, our military, our firefighters, the EMTs. We ask you give wisdom and strength and courage to Joe, our president, Roy, our governor, and Barry, our mayor. And may you continue to bless the United States of America and Beach Mountain. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
anybody signed up for public comments? Mr. Miller, are you,
I'll pass.
pass, okay. Lynn Bernstein? Up here, yeah, please. And please identify yourself and your address.
Lynn Bernstein, 304 Lake Ledge. I just wanted to say thank you very much. I'm a new resident to Beach Mountain and so appreciative of the organized way that you all are handling this city with the structure of the government and the implementation of the programs. And I look forward to learning more and enjoying these years up here, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we're featuring, every month, we're going to try to feature a business up here on the mountain. And today is Beach Mountain Resort. And Talia is going to represent the resort.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Talia Freeman. I am pitch hitting today for my general manager, Ryan, so thank you so much for letting me be here. I just want to make sure that we kind of have clear communication on what we're doing this summer with all of our operations. I thought I'd kind of fill you in a little bit on that. Certainly coming off the heels of an incredible winter. It took me about the whole month of April to recover from that, as I'm sure it did all of you. And I'm super grateful to our police department and Mr. Pudney and all of you here for all of your support this winter, because I know it was particularly challenging on everybody to mitigate the crowds that we've never seen before. So thank you. This is our 9th summer that we've been in operation, which I can't believe. I just figured that out on the way here. We opened this year on May 29th. We're going to stay open until October 2nd. So our plan right now is to operate Thursday through Sunday. We'll be open 10 to 6 daily. We'll be operating for mountain biking. With mountain biking, we do have a full fleet of rental bikes, ranging from just general trail bikes all the way up to electric pedal assist bikes. We have mountain bike instructors that can provide lessons and also guided rides. And we also have 14 trails. This summer we just built 2 new additional trails, so we're excited about those and already getting a lot of good feedback there. We have scenic lift rides daily. Those are just $12 per person, and the only requirement we have there is that you have a 36-inch height requirement. We get that question a lot, so I thought I'd throw it in there. We also have disc golf. A lot of people don't know about this, but it's actually a lot more popular than I've ever realized. We have 18 holes. They start from the summit of the mountain and play their way all the way down to the bottom of the slopes. On Saturdays and Sundays, we do Mile High Yoga. So we bring in yoga instructors from all over. Ms. Malang has been gracious enough to teach for us before. Maybe I'll get Erin up there. But that's every Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 to 11:30. We also have live music every Saturday at the Sky Bar from 2:30 to 5:30. The Beach Mountain Brewing Company is open Thursday through Sunday as well. We serve lunch and dinner. It's open 11 to 8 daily. So we've got a lot going on this summer. Event-wise, other than our yoga, live music, we'll do some bike camps. We are doing a big summer concert series in August. The dates for those will be Friday, August 6th, Saturday, August 7th, August 14th, and August 21st. We're featuring 3 bands, Humphreys McGee, Tedeschi Trucks Band, and Green Sky Bluegrass. We anticipate a large crowd for those. We've already sold out of the August 14th show. So we're right now just trying to work on making sure that we have a good plan with security and operations to make sure that everyone's safe. We have repositioned our concert series to now put the stage at the base of the slopes instead of in the play yard slope, which they were previously. That now opens up more room for vendors, and it will also enable us next year to more than double our capacity for these shows. This year we've still kind of scaled back a bit coming off the heels of COVID. On July 4th, we are doing a little party outside at the cafeteria. We'll have a live band outside. We've got like a balloon and Twist the Balloon Man and a magician for kids, inflatables, and we're hoping that that provides a nice complement to the Chambers drive-through pig roast right before the fireworks. Upgrade-wise this summer, our main goal obviously is to make sure that we're staying on top of things in preparation for winter. So right now, we're just continuing the expansion of all of our snowmaking infrastructure, which has served us well over the last 2 years. There was a noticeable change this year in the snow conditions. We are renovating the ice rink right now, which was much needed, so we'll have more updates on that soon. And we recently just renovated our retail shop and our demo ski shop. So I think that's everything I have, but we've got a lot going on, and again, I'm very appreciative to be here. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we're doing?
What were you talking about? Golf from the top to the bottom?
Yes, it's called disc golf. So essentially, it's played much like regular golf. You throw frisbees. So you start from a tee pad and you throw a frisbee down to a basket. It's just a big basket with chains that collects the frisbees. And there's different weighted frisbees, much like golf clubs. It's really popular, actually. So, and really hard. That's why I don't play. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you, Talia.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
All right, we're having a, excuse me. I need a motion on a public hearing for the annual budget.
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments on the budget? And I need a motion to close the
Motion.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing on the zoning ordinance revision. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments on the zoning ordinance revision? I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion on a public hearing for service franchise agreement ordinance.
Mayor, may we ask questions to?
Let's see, first I need a motion to open up.
So motion.
Second.
Second.
Chief, I've got a list of questions. I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly.
It was me.
Okay, this is public hearing. If we have it on the agenda further
Oh,
down,
sure.
we can discuss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's all the public hearings. Okay, I need a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Old business, I've got need a motion for the solid waste commercial collection and Republic service. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman McCarty, this
This
is
is where you're
just...
gonna ask
Yeah,
any
thank you.
questions?
Want to make sure. Starting October is when the franchise agreement would go into effect.
No, actually, it goes into effect July 1st
Okay.
with a 90-day implementation phase of up to September 30. And during that period of time, the franchisee is required to have an on-site representative to help transition our commercial and multifamily into the program.
Okay.
So I envision a transition period to go through that 90 days, probably August, September, but a September 30 would be the cutoff day.
Okay. It's a 3-year contract.
Yes, sir.
Units of 10 or more, or all commercial businesses are required to go with Republic.
Yes, for the most part. There are some condominiums, multifamily, that we left the availability to meet with Public Works, the Public Works Director. And we'll, if there are some that bins would work better than dumpsters on the multifamily in the 10 to 14 range, below 14, they would have the ability to appeal, and the town could make that decision.
Okay. The weekday that Republic is choosing to pick up the garbage up here, how is that going to be determined with the businesses and condos?
We're going to hold a number of meetings here at Town Hall in July and early August with the businesses that are affected, as well as Public Works and Republic, and those days will be mutually agreed upon.
Okay.
The franchise agreement and the ordinance allows the town to approve not only the rate structure, but the collection. The franchisee has to report and request permission from the town on their collection day. So we don't know what that is. It will be collectively agreed upon by the businesses and the franchisee.
Weekly pickup even during peak season, or does it go to twice a week pickup?
There's weekly pickup with the ability of twice a week and even additional if there was a third or fourth pickup that was required.
And that's case by case?
Yeah, that's negotiable.
Okay.
There will be, it's mandatory, there's a once a week pickup by the franchisee.
Sure.
For the set fee. They've also had to provide a fee for an additional pickup per week. That is set in the agreement. And then there's the ability to negotiate with them for additional pickups jointly between the customer and the franchisee, Republic
Yep.
Services.
Who does the business or condo HOA pay?
Republic Services.
Not the town, though?
Correct.
In any way? Okay. And when Republic misses the pickup, or if they do, who do they call?
Well, they're supposed to call Republic Services.
Mhm.
You and I both know they're
Yeah.
going to call me.
They don't-
And then I'm going to call Republic Services.
Okay.
But the relationship in this agreement is between the customer and the franchisee.
Mhm.
The town is issuing a franchise to Republic, but Republic is going to have a customer relationship with the customer, not the town.
And does the town penalize when garbage is outside of the Republic container and a bear got into it?
The penalty is included. It's our existing ordinance.
Okay.
So if the trash is outside the container, our existing ordinance applies.
Okay. Those are all my questions. Thank you, Chief.
I have one question. Chief, is there also in the contract the need for additional bins seasonally if needed?
Well, that would be the additional pickup.
Okay.
Currently, when we go through this transition period and we meet with the business owner or the multifamily and the franchisee, Republic Services, they'll determine how many, the customer will determine how many bins they want to pay for.
Okay.
And there's a flexibility to move additional ones in, and there's a week notice that is you can't call today and say, bring me another one tomorrow. I believe they've got a week to make that adjustment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
These are bear-resistant bins that are being specially built by the Republic Services. It's the metal top and the lockable slide door on the side.
Yes, sir.
So we think this is a much better container than what you might see elsewhere.
Yes, sir.
One last question on this. The business then determines how many times a week and what they're paying, and then that's their agreement with Republic, correct? Okay.
They're required, the agreement requires Republic to provide at a minimum one weekly pickup for that monthly fee. Additional pickups are negotiable between the customer and Republic.
Okay.
Also, the Republic will have a person especially for Beach Mountain,
Liaison?
a liaison person.
Correct.
And they'll have a number that they can call directly.
Correct. That's in the agreement.
Chief, I'm sorry, in the last contract I read, it was, if they pick up a weekly, on a weekly basis, if it's on a holiday, if it's a Tuesday and it's on a holiday, are they going to come the following day, or does it push them back to the following week for
No,
pickup?
it's the next business day.
The next business day,
And they
okay.
specifically were required, and we listed those holidays that are
Okay,
in
cool.
the agreement.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I have a question. The containers are bear resistant. Will, I guess, I assume it would be up to the business owners if they want to put a padlock on it so other folks can't use it, and or where would a fence be required to be put around it?
Well,
What kind of parameters?
Good comments. The container has a slide door and a hasp for a padlock, and one of the benefits of this is the customer can lock their container so that one of the complaints of dumpsters have been in the past that other people were throwing their garbage in the dumpster. That door does not have to be unlocked for Republic to empty the dumpster. So the customer can control the slide door with a lock. As to fencing, our zoning ordinance reflect that. It has really nothing to do with the franchisee or the franchise agreement. It has to do with our zoning ordinance. So if a dumpster is subject to the zoning ordinance, it may have to be screened.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, I need a motion to accept the ordinance, commercial collection Republic Services.
Make a motion to accept.
All in second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to, to accept the franchise agreement.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. New business, we have a resolution of opposition. The planning board,
You also approved the franchise to Republic as a separate vote. You have the agreement vote, but would you also take a vote on the franchise itself?
thought we did, okay.
I did too.
I need a motion to approve the franchise.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New business, there's a resolution of opposition. The planning board has recommended staff the resolution of opposition to this bill. Right now, it's in committee, and I don't know if anybody's really read the bill. I know you have, I'm sure.
Imagine that.
That wasn't a guess. There's a bill in Raleigh right now that they're trying to regulate short-term renters. They are? I know. But, so, obviously, at this point, for us, that's would be a great loss for Beach Mountain, and I'm sure a lot of other communities. So, we're sending it up in opposition. We want our voice to be heard, that we oppose the bill. And if they don't listen to us, we're gonna send theirs up there to scream louder. So we can get this bill taken off the agenda. So I need a motion to accept send the ordinance, the resolution for opposition.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got a strong eye there.
Mayor will transmit that first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'll also call our local representatives and let them know.
Okay, and do we have, we also have another document, which is, the planning board recommends approval of the regular meeting, May 25th. Planning board has also found amendments consistent with our comprehensive plan. So I guess I would need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First, did I meet your requirements? Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to approve our annual budget ordinance.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, ordinance passes. Mr. Bundy, you're up.
Wow, that was quick, Mayor. Let me catch up here. Okay. From the manager's report on COVID-19 update, the state of emergency, as you know, Mayor, was terminated last week. You signed the termination of the state of emergency. And we are in concert with Watauga County. If you recall, a little over a year ago, when Watauga County issued their state of emergency, we were part of that. So they rescinded their state of emergency as well as the town, so we're back to normal operations. Public Works Complex, the town accepted ownership Friday, the 4th of June. We're moving in as we speak. We expect to be operational sometime next week. The convenience center changes. We don't anticipate moving operations till the week of July 5th. We don't want to try and operate the new center during the holiday weekend. We're kind of nervous about not getting it all fleshed out before we do that. So even though Public Works will be moving, the community center is targeted for July 5th. We are going to have signage and message boards in place so that when we make that change, people coming to the convenience center know now to go to Water Tank Road. We'll have some of our message boards up and fix signage directing people there to make it as smooth as possible. And I'm proud to tell you that the project was on time, under the negotiated contract schedule and under budget. So we're really proud of that. I had sent you, each of you, an email, but I did want to say publicly and thank Riley Hatch. He was assigned this project by my predecessor, and I continued that, and Riley spent every day, every working day at that facility tracking it for us. And although we had a number of staff people who made that project happen, Riley was the key to making that happen. So the fact that we're under budget, my hat's off to Riley Hatch. So I give him convenience center, as I told you, we're going to try to open, we will open the new center July 5th, but I do want to start making notification that with the budget approval, we're reducing our hours effective July 1st. We're going to 6 days a week as opposed to 7, and we'll be 8 hours a day instead of 12, and we'll put signage up there. And as I reported to you last month, that's savings of over $88,000 that we needed on our
Have we decided which day we're closing?
It appears Wednesdays will be the day we'll be closed. We did some data analysis, and that's the least popular day. So that's flexible, but weekends have to be open, and Wednesdays looks like the day. We have a program of the last Sunday of the month for homeowner construction debris, and it's been very popular since we instituted that. And with your permission, I'd like to take a look at the schedule and make that 2 Sundays a month as opposed to 1. We're filling up the container on the last Sunday of the month, and we're turning away some homeowners that have legitimate debris. So there'll be an incremental cost of disposal, but as long as the center's open, we'll set that open can if that's okay with council.
Yes.
On solid waste, you approved the Republic contract and the franchise agreement. I pretty much went over that. We'll start getting the word out to those customers who will be affected, and we'll set up those meetings in July and August to implement that. Short-term rentals under solid waste, you will recall that bear-resistant bins are required by December 31st, 2021. Now that the budget is passed, we'll start a direct mail to, we're going to mail everyone in the town to let them know what the rental requirements are. And if they are renting, the safety affidavits are required, as well as the bear-resistant bins. We will begin twice a week solid waste pickup on the residential routes close to July 5th. We've got the vehicles in place. To be honest with you, you've approved the budget tonight. I now have to hire additional personnel to make all this work. So I was joking, but actually serious when I told Daniel and Matthew that the 3 of us are going to be driving sanitation trucks until we can hire some people. So everybody should keep an eye out for those letters, and as we move not only to get our short-term rental people up to speed on the bear-resistant bins and the safety affidavit, but also let folks know of the changes to the solid waste.
Do we know the 2 days yet?
Not yet.
No, the schedule, it'll be multiple days. So in other words, at my house it's Fridays, so it might be Monday and Friday. And it might be Tuesday and Thursday for other routes.
Gotcha.
They're building that route now. They've done some testing, and we'll get that schedule out quickly.
Great, thank you.
As you know, the TDA funded a information radio station, and it will probably go on the air at the end of this week. Final installation and testing is tomorrow and Thursday. We're working on some signage down the mountain to let everybody know, but it's going to be 1620 on the AM radio, and I'm not sure what they're going to call it, but Beach Mountain Information Radio. And it'll do 2 things. It will provide daily continuous information on town events and town news and things of that nature. For me, more importantly, during an emergency event, our dispatch can take it over and put information, road closures, full-wheel drive, that type of thing, accidents, so that people can actually hear that in their car as opposed to us calling them on the phone while they're home. So kind of excited about that, and TDA funded that 100%, and it will be up and running, and we'll get some information out to the public on that. Let's see, on Buckeye Creek Road, the contractor showed up yesterday and has been paving today, and weather permitting, and tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have that repair completed. So we'll look forward to Buckeye Creek Road being repaired. Lake Coffee Project, our RFQ for an engineer closes on June 30th. To that end, I've reported on that. We'll begin, and this budget now has funding to begin engineering that project. I've met with Mr. Costin at the resort and Mr. Barnes at the club. Those are going to be the three entities that are going to work on the agreement that the mayor asked me to begin working on. That framework is being produced, and we'll be moving forward. Just as a note, we need to find some water. We've been in violation here for about 7 days at Buckeye Lake. And of course, today's rain is beneficial, but we need a lot more of that. So the water issue is going to begin moving forward. Our Locust Ridge well, drilling has started yesterday. It will take about a week to 10 days to see what the results bring. So hopefully we'll get that underway. Shane Park, happy to announce that camping has been popular. In fact, next weekend, we're at 100% occupancy in our campgrounds. And this last weekend, we had, I think, 4 campers there, and according to the police chief and the Parks and Rec director, things are running smoothly there. So that's great.
How many campsites are there, Chief? 8?
There's 7.
7?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Emerald Outback, we have a trail economic study, impact study underway, and what that is, the TDA has gone out with a firm that uses App State students who will be out there interviewing people, mostly at Emerald, but our other trails. And what they're doing is they're surveying the usage of the trail, where the people are coming from, and taking some information for the survey. The end result will be hopefully a comprehensive financial and economic impact study on what our trails bring into the town. We all talk about how important they are, but we really didn't have a way to measure them. The reason I bring that up is because those people are out there that are in identified T-shirts. They have a lanyard with a badge, carrying a clipboard, and a survey. So if you are out there and you're approached, you'll at least know who they are. The police department is aware, and we're working diligently to gather that information. The Kids Fishing Derby last Saturday was a great success. I was there, lots of kids, lots of families, a lot of big fish. I was amazed at the fish that won. I forget what Sean told me, but it was like 17 inches brook trout. So Parks and Rec did a really good job on that. Our new playground at Bark Park construction is completed. The surface is in. We're there today with our crew repairing the ground, seeding, and filling in where the vehicles were. And we'll have a ribbon cutting soon, but we believe we'll open the playground up to the children later this week or beginning of next week. Wynn Memorial Park, which is in front of the entrance to Public Works, you see the flagpoles and the stonework. We have a dedication scheduled for July 4th at 2 p.m. If you could put that on your schedule. That is Wynn Memorial Park is also now has a memorial to Rube and Barbara Moradian. And so the funding that handled that park was a joint effort between the town and the Moradians' donation to the fire department. So that it really looks nice with the stonework and the flagpoles, and I look forward to seeing you there on July 4th at 2 o'clock. Michael Holland championed that program. and has done a lot of the work there along with our Parks and Rec and Public Works. So I think if you get a chance, stop by, take a look at that. It's really a nice park. The last thing I've got in report is EMS. This budget that we passed does not have funding for EMS, as we've talked about it. The mayor had asked if we could show a separate charge on the annual tax bill, and the answer, Mayor, is yes, we can. It is not a separate fee, but we can take a portion of ad valorem and account for it for EMS and show it as an EMS
We can
fee.
identify it as the EMS.
Yes, sir. That can be done. And you should know, or I'd like you to know, that with the funding agreement that you passed tonight for the capital equipment, we were able to secure that funding. Steve was able to secure that funding at 1.27% interest rate over 5 years, and it freed up $920,000 that we had originally put into your budget proposal. So there is some funding in the budget if you wanted to pursue the EMS over the next first or second quarter of the budget, is what I wrote to you in my budget message. I just, you don't have to give me direction tonight, but I think that's something that you've been asking about, I've been talking about. That's where the funding would be available, and it would take some time to begin implementing an improvement to our EMS system.
Well, we'd have to look at contracts, what service we go with.
Correct. Correct.
There's a lot of study we still have to do before we make.
The issue that we have been struggling with was funding. And so if the next step, if you so desired, would be to move forward with the two vendors that we had discussed and figure out, what the best way. In my budget message to you, I had projected second quarter of the fiscal year that we could, at the earliest, make this happen.
So what's our next step into moving this project, if we can move this project forward? What do we need to do?
Well, the next step is the council needs to tell me what you want, if anything, to do, but that's, last meeting I've been asked to get those answers, funding, and can we put it on the tax bill, and so now it's back to council to decide what they want to do.
Does it need to be on next month's agenda?
If you'd like to discuss it then, I can.
Well, I think we'd have to have a public hearing first. I'd like to have, what service we're going with, number one. Number two, have all the information and then have a public hearing, because obviously, if we put it on the tax bill, I definitely want the public to have some input.
Okay.
The tax bill's gonna go up by $1,000, no, I'm only joking. So we can put it on next month's agenda, I don't have a problem.
For discussion?
If you can have the information, if not, put it on the August agenda.
Well, let me just clarify. I've gotten the information from the two vendors, and we've gotten their proposals. The town would have to decide which vendor, or negotiate with both and come up with an agreement. I can go back to them, but I pretty much told them what you were looking for and what the cost was. So, other than the funding, it would be, is there a desire to move in that direction?
Okay, well, if you want to put it on the July agenda, we'll have a public hearing.
Okay.
And so the public can have some input on it.
Okay. I'll do that. Fire Department open house is Saturday, June 19th, 2 to 4 at Station 2. We'd like to have everybody in the community stop by. It's free hot dogs and cotton candy, and come look at some fire trucks and meet your fire department, and if you're interested, fill out an application. We can use some new members. The last thing I've got, Mayor, is I actually need some direction. We have some board vacancies. The Board of Adjustment has a vacancy. Mr. Brian Barnes has moved off the mountain, and he's resigned, and the TDA has an open vacancy. We've been receiving sporadic inquiries. Would you like me to advertise that for July, or look for people by August? What's your desire?
I'd say by August.
So go ahead and ask people and put it on your August agenda?
Correct.
Okay. Mayor, the Eagles Nest Properties de-annexation, we discussed this back in May. and the council decided to take no position. And these are, just to refresh your memory, these are properties in the Eagles Nest subdivision that are actually in the town of Beech Mountain. So I reported that the town didn't want to take a position, yea or nay, that the state could de-annex if they so desired. Representative Green has decided not to do anything unless there was support or denial from the town of Beech Mountain, which he transmitted that information back to the property owner. Property owner has asked me one more time to ask the town if you would take a position. Obviously, they would want a position where you support the annexation. I agreed to bring that up in my comments, but if our position hasn't changed, I can report that as well.
I don't think the position's changed.
What about
I
you?
think it starts a bad precedent.
Okay. Last thing, Mayor, last month, we had a request to look at the golf cart ordinance, and I need to know if you want me to ask the planning board to look at that. This is the rear-facing seat issue, and bring a recommendation back to you, or are you not interested in looking at that again?
Well, if you remember, the committee was set up, and you were part of it, and you remember the compromise that was made, that the only way we would get the votes is that nobody would be able to sit in the back seat. And I still stand with that arrangement. So, to me, it's, I mean, people want, if you want to discuss it, but to me, it's a non-issue. That was the compromise we made 2 years ago to allow golf carts on the mountain.
What purpose does it serve?
Beg your pardon?
What purpose does it serve not having people on the back of the golf cart?
Well, for safety reasons and for also, the fact is that they, with the kind of roads we have on Beech Mountain, there's no security for the people in the back seats,
No seatbelts.
and there's no seat belts available. So to me, that was the agreement, and that was the only way we agreed to do it. So I don't think it should be changed at this point.
If the seats were facing forward,
That's
do they
different.
require
That's-
seatbelts?
That would, I don't think they make one that faces forward.
Yeah, they do.
The ordinance
Yeah.
doesn't require seatbelts, and they specifically restrict a rear-facing seat. So when our police department does the inspection, you can have a golf cart with a rear-facing seat. You cannot have a golf cart driving down the road with people sitting in it in the rear-facing seat. So it doesn't eliminate a golf cart from receiving an inspection approval. It eliminates you using it in that configuration. Seatbelts are not required.
All right, any other discussion on it?
Okay. Mayor, that's it. Thank you very much.
I have a question on the recreation report. Did we get somebody make a donation? We have a revenue of $16,000.
No, we've had a booming year or month in recreation, certainly compared to the same time last month. I noted that myself.
408 is the page.
Back, I highlighted that and talked to Sean about it. You know, that has been that's our total monthly revenue. If you look at the chart, it's well above, well,
Right,
last year's same month, we had 0.
right.
So hopefully, as June progresses, we won't see as much because we had, if you look at our number of passes sold, we had a total of 4 family passes and 13 individual annual passes. And a lot of our classes have been well attended. And we're, you know, the council's direction to me last budget, not this one you just passed, the one that we're in today, was to increase our user fees to better reflect the cost of the program, and that's what we've done.
Okay, and the next page, Shane Park, 240, is that the camping?
It is.
Okay. All right. town council comments. Kelly?
Just wanted to say the tour, thank you for the tour of Public Works. Exceptional building. If anybody can get up there and take a look at it, they really should. It's very, very impressive. The History Museum opens June 17th to the public. So if anybody hasn't been to the Beech Mountain History Museum, you should go. Excited about the playground, one of our top 5 commitments that we wanted to make to the town. And that's about it for me.
Okay. Mr. Abernathy?
I have several questions. One's on the Emerald Outback system. With some of the changes that have recently taken place, are there short-term contracts or lease arrangements, long-term lease arrangements? What's the status of that?
We have an easement with one property owner easement that expires in November of this year without some modification. I've met with him and we have an amendment that we're forwarding. We're still trying to work out the details, where there'll be less and less use of the Emerald Outback over time as they make development decisions and sell property and decide what they want to do with the property. So Emerald Outback's not going away in November of 2021, but as we go forward and the real estate market is what it is, we'll have less and less trails.
So are we cutting back on any expenses?
Yes. The direction I've given the Parks and Rec director is that we will maintain what we're using in a safe manner. We're not making any additional improvements to the land, and we won't make any capital expenditures.
Okay. And then other areas where trails could potentially be built, is there the opportunity to create some long-term leases there where the town can do some nice capital improvements that, you know, there's not going to be any risk that in 5 years or 3 years that, you know, the land's going to be taken away?
Well, the answer is yes, and we actually have some private conversations underway that I think would be better discussed in a closed session if we needed to do that, possibly next month. The reason being is we haven't come to an agreement, and I want to be careful.
Sure, sure.
So we do have other areas that we're negotiating with the property owner for additional trails.
Okay. And then with the TDA, I saw where there were 58 grant awards totaled over $204,000 to help numerous businesses and projects. Can a business get more than one grant, receive more than one grant?
They can. The TDA did 2 rounds of grant. They did their traditional biannual grant process, and they issued those out. And because the TDA has an abundance of capital right now, they decided as a board that they wanted to offer larger grants to the community. Some businesses may have had projects, painting, roofing, signage, that were quite large, and the original grant cycle was restricted. So they opened it up for a second round of grants, and as you see, they received a great deal of response. And yes, the answer is yes, you can have multiple grants this time. And they gave out a substantial amount of funds for improvements. And when I looked at the list, you know, they were signage, they were painting, they were roofing, they were landscaping. It was substantial visual improvement. And there was projects for some marketing, and there were some projects for some signage and things like that. But by and large, the TDA reinvested in our business corridor to improve its visual appeal.
What's the maximum amount that a business can receive?
I don't believe there was a maximum amount on the second round. They asked people to tell them what they needed. And some businesses asked for a large amount and received less. When the TDA went through, they didn't grant. In other words, your grant wasn't based on what you asked for. It wasn't a pass or fail. If you asked for $20,000, they may have given you 10. So there was a number of grants that were less than what was asked
I wanted to give kudos to Public Works. I've never seen, and this is kind of minimal, but small things add up to a larger vision. Along Beach Mountain Parkway, I've never seen the erosion control material. It's got the grass seed in it along Beach Mountain Parkway and in a lot of areas. It's always been, dirt and gravel. And Beach Mountain is looking nicer, and I hope we continue down the same path. That's all I have.
That's been your direction, and with the budget you passed tonight, that's again the direction you've given us to do, and we'll implement that plan.
Yeah, and again, I know that's peanuts, but it's, it all adds up. Beach Mountain has needed a facelift for a long time, and we're finally getting some traction on that. And I thank you and Public Works and Town Council and everyone else that's involved with this. You too, Steve.
As far as the grants are concerned, is there any reason why it's not made public, the amounts paid to the different companies?
I don't know if there's a reason, there's no restriction, but I don't know if the TDA made that decision for, as a policy, but there's no legal restriction.
Well,
Sorry.
well, after you approve the amounts, it should be in the minutes to what entity got what amount and what the request was
It is
for.
in the minutes, you're correct.
Yeah,
It is a public
They
record.
just
I
can't
was gonna
say anything
it is
before.
public record.
Yes, sir.
So if somebody goes up to somebody went out to TDA and asked them what grants were given out, they'd have to give them the information.
Yes, sir.
And I have that information, I'd be happy to share it. It's.
No, I just had some people from the public ask me who got what grants and what amount. And I didn't know, of course, but
Well, would you
I didn't know
like,
if it was public record.
would
Yeah.
council like a report, and I'll have TDA director give you a report on who received what, and how much and what for?
Definitely.
I'll have that to you.
Pardon me, Mr. Mayor. That was given and it's listed online in their meeting for tomorrow. You can pull up their agenda and find that.
But I still like to have a separate copy.
I'll get it to you.
Mr. Arcadi?
Yes, sir. It's refreshing to see everybody in here, including Urs. One, great job to Steve for putting together the budget and having Bob and all the department directors help you. Two, for Riley Hatch tackling the Public Works facility. It is really top-notch and amazing and beautiful, and it's got the best view out of all these office buildings, for sure. And then three is with the town hall meetings that we used to do a few years ago, or a couple of years ago. I'd like to see the topic of not so much discussion, but just the policy, what we're setting up with the trash, what days, residential, commercial, the new center hours, just anything we can do to clear the air for summer residents and full-time residents, so everyone can be on the same page. I think it would be a helpful meeting.
Would you like me to schedule a meeting at Buckeye on solid waste changes?
I'll let the mayor answer that.
In August.
You do?
Bring it.
He's reading off my paper. I wanted to say welcome back to our summer residents as well. It's great to see everybody and thrilling to see everybody here in person. It's been so long since we've been able to do that, and Zoom is one thing, but it just is not the same as having everyone here and the ability to be able to talk and communicate. I also wanted to, I'll start out by saying I went to the kids' fishing derby Saturday, and actually saw the winning fish carried in by a child off the hook the last 5 minutes with his arms wrapped around it, barefoot in a pair of shorts, running as it was weighed. And it was so crowded with, you name it, parents, grandparents, visitors, summer residents, year-rounders. It's just a great day at Lake Coffee, and everyone has a wonderful time. The kids are so excited that Sean thought of everything. In the recreation department, they gave trophies for the biggest fish, and they gave trophies for the littlest fish. And that little boy was probably no bigger than this and couldn't have been more excited. But just a job well done by Sean and the group. Also, I also wanted to say a thank you to Riley for overseeing the project and our new public works facility. When you go up to recycle, you'll be amazed at what it looks like. It is so beneficial and will be so beneficial to our town, the longevity of our equipment, our trucks, our vehicles. It's just going to be nothing but positive. And Riley stayed on top of that during an interesting year. I also had down to thank Steve Smith because, someone working with numbers, that has never been my strong point, but Steve works so well and makes it look so easy. There's a lot of work and a lot of time.
The department heads. Make it easy.
It's a team effort, and it's a group effort, and it takes a lot of time and work to put it together. And we're growing, so it's getting more complicated. So my thanks to Steve and everyone involved with that, including our chief. TDA, the playground, I actually went up there the other day. I've waited as long as I possibly could to go up there, and got a little misty-eyed as started my career as a PE teacher, so I walked every inch of it looking for pinch points and anything that I could possibly see as a parent and professional to look at it to see if there was anything that looked amiss. What a class job it is. The hardest part was watching the little children in the park staring at it because they couldn't go over the crime tape to get to it to play. But it's really wonderful, and I know we have one at the other half of our mountain, but we've got so many visitors and folks that are up here that they can bring their dog for the dog park, and the kids are on the playground, and when we have our buildings up in the sliding hill, it's just a nice focal point and really a really great thing. So my appreciation to TDA and everyone involved with that. I just want to thank, because it's been an unusual year, our employees, Town Hall, Tamara, all of our Town Hall staff, and starting with our town manager and all the way down. It's been a difficult year, which has required everyone to step up and go above and beyond and do their job a little bit more someone else's job. And we've got through it. We're coming out of it, and we can finally start to see things starting to run back a little bit normal, which is a really refreshing feeling. So, but it takes folks that are very dedicated to our town, and we're very lucky on Beach that we have those kind of people. And that's all I have.
I wanted to circle back on something, and it's the budget and the money that the town is spending. I think we all have a fiduciary responsibility to our taxpayers. And in my opinion, I think the money that we're spending is, at this point, we are reinvesting in our community in the long-term growth that is necessary to keep Beech Mountain moving in a forward direction. And I appreciate anyone's input. If anyone sees that the town is wasting money or unnecessarily spending money, it's our tax dollars, it's your tax dollars. Please feel free to email me, email council, and the input that we have received from some of you, I appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed. Thank you. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Talia, thank you for the update. Guys are doing a lot of stuff up there. It's been great. We talk a lot about garbage, and it's like it's like something I never thought that I'd have to talk a lot about is garbage. But for people that don't want a bin in front of their house, there's an option. You have an option to opt out, which means we won't pick up your garbage. We'll go right by it. But you have to sign a waiver, and it has to be signed by August the 1st. So if anybody doesn't want a bin in front of their house or doesn't want garbage to be picked up at their house, come to Town Hall and sign the form so you can be opt out. And so, because as of August the 1st, if you don't opt out, you're going to have a bin.
I'll ask the question.
Sure, go ahead.
Will that be an annual renewal? If on an August 1st of this current year, you feel that way, but in August 2822, circumstances change and you want to be in, will there be an annual renewal of the opting out?
You'd come back and sign another, you'd be released from the opt-out.
You can
But the-
opt back in at any time,
Back, yeah.
At any time.
At any time.
although you could not opt back out later after the deadline.
Correct.
As a-
Once we passed August the 1st, you can't opt out.
You can't,
You can't opt out. Okay?
if you're in, you can't be out.
Correct. Also, if your house gets sold or transferred to somebody else, then it would require a bin. So as long as you're the owner of the house, you can opt out of it, or opt in if you choose to.
But the new owner does not have an option.
No.
It's going to be mandatory on every sale of
It's a-
every house that, so in other words, your grandfather can assent.
Correct. As long as you own the house. You're being-
Once you're in, you're in,
Correct.
but you can be out and go back in. But once you're in,
You're
even
in.
on the second,
You're in.
you're in.
Correct.
So if the new owner doesn't want a garbage bin,
The ordinance has always been forever that you have to have a bin in front of your house. It's always been there. So nothing has changed.
yeah, but you've just given that option.
Well, right, because we've had quite a few people that have asked that they don't want a bin in front of their house, so how can they have an opportunity not to? We're giving you the option of opting out. Like I said, we're giving you to August the 1st. After that, you have to have a bin. Either you're in or you're out. But, so, I just want everybody to understand that.
How are we going to handle people that don't have bins August 1st? Is that just the trash collection will come by and they'll skip over them?
Correct. Correct. And we have, also the people that have bins have to make sure that they meet our standards. Because there's certain standards in the ordinance says how the trash bin should look. But it's also important that you have a flag, a red flag. So when the drivers come by to pick, if your flag is not up, they're gonna keep on moving. But they're not gonna have time to pick up every bin to see if there's garbage in it. So that indication will let the driver know that you have garbage to be picked up.
I think this is going to catch a lot of people by surprise.
Well, that's why we're giving you an opportunity. That's why we're making it public now and a letter will be going out to everybody in the town of all the different regulations.
Do you feel confident that there are enough manufacturers of the bins to be able to supply to people in time for that August 1st deadline for people who are opting in?
Well, most people have the wooden bins now that are going to be staying with it. The more problem we're having is the people that don't have bins don't want it. Now, if you want a bear proof or bear resistant, which you should have, we've talked to the manufacturer and he can supply as many as we need. So that's not an issue. I really suggest that if you do put a bin, is you get a bear resistant bin for the little difference in money. And at that problem, you wouldn't have to worry about bears attacking your bin and then being fined because there's garbage all over the ground.
And that information is available on who those manufacturers.
Correct. Fred does have pamphlets.
He's got actually a bin.
He's
there for
actually got a
this
bin
display.
there. So you can take a look at it. And like I said, we've talked to the manufacturer. They'll supply all we need.
What about bins? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
For many years, the bears have been a problem, even when you had the receptacle there, they'd knock everything around. Now, what we have done for the last several years is wheel it out on Friday morning. Is that no longer going to be acceptable?
It's not acceptable, no. The ordinance reads that the garbage shouldn't be left in a driveway or left anywhere out.
It only goes there the morning the pickup is.
I understand, but the bears don't know what morning and afternoon, they can come at any time.
And they surely do, more so in the day now. than they
So,
do at
you know, you can put your garbage out at 7 o'clock in the morning and get hit at 7:15. And so, we turn around and fine you $500 because you did the right thing, but the wrong thing. So, the opportunity for you would either opt out and bring your garbage to the convenience center, or get a bear-resistant bin. Those are your two options.
So this has nothing to do with the receptacle from Waste Management?
No. No.
So if we've got a wooden bin now, you need to remove it and replace it with a bear-proof bin?
That's your option, you don't have to.
Okay, so I can still bring my trash out. If I've got a wooden bin outside and I see the trash guys come by, I can take it out of them, but I can't on the day of put it in my wooden bin before the.
Don't put it on top of the wooden bin.
Gotcha.
Put it in it, put your flag up,
I don't have a flag.
well, look,
Is it the wooden bin you have to have a flag?
yes, Lowe's sells them. I think they're 49 cents, but, so this way here, when the driver comes by, I mean, he can't stop at every bin to see if there's garbage in it. You know, I mean, in most towns, you put your garbage out and then you take your pail, you put it out, they pick it up. So, you put your flag out, the guy will stop right by, pick up your garbage and keep on going. That's what I said. All I'm doing is talking about garbage.
When your wooden bin breaks down, it does have to be replaced with a bear-resistant container, though. So if it begins to suffer rot or decay, then would be the time to remove the wooden bin, and then you've got to upgrade.
What about wooden bins that aren't in compliant?
Well, that's,
What's
So if it gets in a fight with a bear, then you have to replace it.
correct,
Yes.
Okay.
correct.
Now, does somebody install those metal bins?
Yes, the company will install it properly. They put it in concrete so that the bear just can't pull it and, flip it over.
What about wooden bins that aren't in compliant? Is Public Works going to report that to whomever, and like bins that don't have a lid to them, or?
We have a number of non-compliant bins. And my plan is, after we go through this transition of short-term rentals requiring bear resistant, people opting in, opting out, we've done a survey, we know the non-compliant bins, and then it's a code enforcement issue. And that's a delicate balancing act, as everyone knows. So we have the survey. I didn't want to do it all at once.
Sure.
And so we'll begin that as we get through this transition.
I see quite a few bins on Beach Mountain that appear that they haven't been used in a number of years. And then quite a few bins that appear that they are being used, but, they don't have the lid or the cap on it, and the screen and a flag.
And that is a code enforcement issue. And that is not the responsibility of Public Works. They did the survey for me. Code enforcement is done through the Planning and Zoning Department. And unless I'm strongly directed, we're not going to go out there and start mass enforcement of bins.
We'll try not to right now. We got enough garbage
Yellow
going
sticky
on.
notes.
Go ahead.
I live in a condominium, and unfortunately, there is not enough property for a large bin to be put. In other words, one that would go through, and it's only 4 units in that condominium, POA. What do we do? Now, everybody in my condominium have opted out, and we don't use any trash bins. We come up to the site and recycle it.
Well, let's put it this way, the rentals,
There's one, and they also take it to the.
okay, the
recycle.
rental will have to have a bear-proof bin.
Okay, and if we don't have property because it takes away parking space?
You will have to make some kind of arrangement, but if it's a rental, if it's a short-term rental, you have to have a bear-proof bin.
Okay, and if all 4 of them are full-time owners and don't want to opt in,
Then they can opt out.
then we don't have to have a bin
Correct,
or one of the large
correct.
receptacles.
Correct.
Mayor, that's not correct.
The 4?
Yeah, that's a multifamily, and that will be a case-by-case basis with
Okay.
the town. And they'll either have to have a bin or a dumpster.
4 family?
Yeah, a single family is the only one they can opt out.
Okay. Stand corrected.
Are there any regulations if you're near a stop sign for the placement of your bin and on a grade?
No, as long as we had, the drivers have access to it, there shouldn't be a problem.
Are there setbacks? From, if there's a stop sign, would there be a setback for some kind of, thing that's going to be installed?
Beg your pardon?
Is that your question?
No, it's just how far from a stop sign would it be?
Well, yeah, there would be some kind of setback from a sign.
Should be, but it's got to be within, the driver can drive up with the truck and get it easily. I mean, you can't have it up close to your house by, up your driveway, he's not going to go that way. But at the edge of the road, he can pick it up.
Mayor, the bins, by ordinance, the bins are installed with the direction of the Public Works Director, and he would not allow them to block stop signs and things like that.
Yeah, because then it probably wouldn't be on your property.
Right. So I'm tired, if there isn't any more garbage questions, I just want to thank everybody for their hard work. Steve did a great job, thank you. And I'm sure we'll be dealing with this for a while, but it's something that we're trying to alleviate everybody going to the convenience center. It just makes it too difficult. We have to handle garbage too many times. And this way here, we're trying to make it simple. It might not sound simple, but it will work out that way. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for coming. And I guess we took all the citizens' comments on the agenda. Okay, go ahead.
I have one because you have it listed on your agenda, but you didn't go over it. You have a property that you are selling.
Can we ask you to state your name and your?
Go up there.
Eva Jones at Skiway 100, and also lot 144, Daisy Lane.
What is it?
Also owner of 144, Daisy Lane.
We approved it in the consent agenda.
It's in here.
It's in the consent agenda. We approved it
Why are you selling my property?
because it was up for auction.
No, it isn't. My taxes are paid up.
This is property that was sold as lot HH 262, which was deeded by John Murdoch to the town of Beech Mountain in 1997. There may be a question as to the actual street address.
Where you're having it at 144 Wild Daisy Lane.
I think that is the street address reference for the tax purposes. The lot is lot 262 of Hemlock Hills.
In Hemlock Hills, okay, thank you. But the address is wrong, because that's my address.
We sold your house.
It is listed under Watauga County tax search as 144 Wild Daisy Lane. So there may be some, but I believe the tax ID and all would show that it is owned by the town of Beech Mountain.
It's not on Wild Daisy Lane, is it?
It's on Wild Daisy Lane.
Okay. If you have a plot or a land, sighting of it, or what it looks like?
There is a tax ID number that's in the agenda packet, and we can look that up. But yes, this would. I'll make sure as we prepare the deed that it
Please do,
has the correct address on it.
because I am personally selling it at this time. And it is listed in as 144 Wild Daisy Lane. Okay?
Thank you.
Well, we won't have to worry about garbage on that one. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor.
So take care.
All right,